I'd like to call this meeting of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District to order. Ms. Rochelle, could you take roll, please?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Here.
Ms. Long?
Here.
Mr. Chalem Churla?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
And Mr. Clark?
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. I'm assuming that there are no comments, none. All right, well, we will close this out, go into closed session where we will hear student matters, employee-employee relationships, conference with legal counsel, conference with real property negotiators, and personnel matters. With that being said, we're adjourned. I'd like to call this meeting the order of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board of Education. Superintendent, if you can call roll, please. Or Ms. Rochelle, sorry.
Ms. Petracca?
Here.
Ms. Long?
Here.
Mr. Chalem Churla?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
All are present.
All right, thank you. We'll start off with the land acknowledgement.
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishinan and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nishinan ancestral tribes, the Esto, Notamuse, and Nisim Pewanan to the north.
And the Miwok ancestral tribes, the Amashume, Consumne, Halapunye, and Mokalumne to the south along the Great Sacramento River systems since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous communities.
We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that has impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of descendants who continue to thrive today.
In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting, respecting, and honoring their culture, traditions, and lifeways.
We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and Nishinan, especially for all future generations.
All right, thank you. If you could please stand for the pledge. With me, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. A broadcast recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be cablecast with replays on Metro Cable, Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable. The recording will also be closed captioned and video live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. The Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. If any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and/or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 2 p.m. today to the board have been read. Per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into any two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. With that, we'll go to item D, District Recognition Month, Filipino American History Month. Superintendent?
Well, fantastic. Welcome. I just wanted to ensure that all of our board and community knows that each month, the equity leaders in our district, as led by Dr. Ayanna Pease, who is here, are putting together a slide deck that has included an employee, and we have someone here to present tonight. So thank you so much. Please introduce yourself as well.
Right. Good evening, Board President Clark, members of the Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Swanson. My name is Faith Gianita. I am a teacher at Vista Del Lago High School, and I'm also an FCUSD equity leader. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today. As we celebrate Filipino Heritage Month, we'll reflect on the rich history of Filipino Americans in the United States and honor the many ways they continue to contribute to and strengthen our communities. As we look back on the rich history of Filipinos in the United States and honor the many contributions Filipino Americans continue to make, we celebrate their resilience, leadership, and lasting impact. The 1935 Filipino Repatriation Act unfairly encouraged Filipinos to leave the U.S., while the 1965 Immigration and Naturalization Act opened doors for families and many new opportunities. Despite early discrimination, Filipino Americans stayed, built strong communities, and became leaders in healthcare, education, and many other fields. Their story is a powerful reminder of perseverance, strength, and the importance of standing together. Today, Filipino Americans are a vibrant and vital part of our culture and our community. Filipino Americans have been part of U.S. history for over 400 years, with the first documented arrival in 1587 in what is now Morro Bay, California. Over time, Filipino Americans have built strong communities, contributed to labor movements, and enriched our culture in countless ways. Today, they represent the second largest Asian American group in the nation and one of the largest within California. Understanding this history helps us appreciate their contributions and better serve our diverse student body. This timeline highlights key moments in Filipino American history from 1910 to 1991. In 1910, many Filipino immigrants arrived at Angel Island in San Francisco, California, working in farms, canneries, and other service industries. By 1934, the Tidings-McDuffie Act created a limited path to citizenship, though immigration was restricted. After World War II, changes by 1946 allowed more Filipinos to gain U.S. citizenship. The 1965 Immigration and Nationality Act removed longstanding barriers, welcoming families and professionals. Throughout the 1980s, Filipino Americans advocated for recognition and cultural preservation. By 1991, the Filipino American History Month was celebrated for the first time, marking a milestone in honoring the community's contributions. Filipino American History Month is observed in October to honor the first documented Filipinos who arrived in what is now Morro Bay on October 18th, 1587. The observance was established by the Filipino American National Historical Society in 1992 and later received official recognition by the U.S. Congress in 2009. This month provides an opportunity to celebrate Filipino American history, culture, and contributions to our communities. Now we'll highlight two influential Filipino leaders whose legacies have left a lasting impact. The first is Corazon Aquino, the first female president of the Philippines, who is celebrated for restoring democracy after years of authoritarian rule. She became a symbol of peaceful resistance and strong leadership, inspiring Filipinos both in the Philippines and abroad. Her legacy continues to influence Filipino communities, emphasizing the importance of civic engagement, justice, and democratic values. Next, we have Larry Itliong, who was a pioneering Filipino-American labor leader and activist. He played a key role in organizing farm workers in California and was a central figure in the 1965 Delano grape strike, which later became part of the United Farm Workers movement alongside Cesar Chavez. Itliong's leadership helped secure better wages and working conditions, and his legacy continues to inspire advocacy for workers' rights and social justice in Filipino-American communities and beyond. Today's FCUSD Spotlight features Dr. Carrie Jackson, assistant principal at Cordova High School. Coming from a large Filipino family, she cherishes gatherings filled with joy, laughter, and traditional dishes like nilagang baka and sinigang, which always remind her of home. Dr. Jackson proudly celebrates her heritage, often participating in FCUSD International Night in traditional attire. Her commitment to community is also reflected in her nephews, Drew and Brandon, both student leaders serving on the Student Advisory Board. This photo was taken at their most recent SAB event. As we celebrate Filipino American History Month, we honor the contributions and resilience of Filipino Americans and recognize the ongoing work for equity in our schools and our communities. Thank you for supporting the celebration and for standing with us and uplifting these stories.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. We'll move on to item E, Secondary School Spotlight, Vista del Lago. Superintendent?
Yes, sir. I believe there are a couple Eagles out there ready to highlight how life is on the Vista del Lago campus. Welcome.
Good evening, board members and staff. I am Audrey Couch, Vista del Lago's lead public relations commissioner.
And I'm Dominic Flores, Vista del Lago's ASB Assistant Publicity. We are here to present student life at Vista del Lago High School, but first off, we would like to share a video of a day in the life at Vista by a student made by our video production.
All right, now we'll be starting off with our academics. At Vista, we have a high enrollment in our AP courses, including 17 courses with 68 sections. We also offer various dual enrollment opportunities through Folsom Lake College to kickstart students' higher education. At Vista, we also offer many career-oriented CTE classes, including art programs, engineering pathways, and careers with children. We are set aside from other schools in the district as we practice the 4x4 block schedule. This allows our students to work rigorously and double up on credits. Our academic excellence is also seen in our academic decathlon team, as well as our Skills USA that compete both regionally and nationally.
Next up, we have our arts. Our arts have had a high participation with our VAPA and CT courses, such as CME, Advanced Drama, Drawing and Animation, as well as Video Production, as well as our art time too. Our school allows us to showcase these skillful talents with various festivities, such as Open Mic Nights, which is coming up soon, Vistapalooza, concerts, and showcases during finals. Also coming up, we have Rocktober with performances every Friday during lunch, as well as our fall musical Ranked.
Next up is our athletics. At Vista, we are very prideful in our Bleed Blue crew, which is our school student section that come to sporting events. We have been ranked #1 student section in Northern California and have been featured in many online news reports. We have started off our athletics strong this year with a record-breaking cross-country and track and field athlete, Brenna Mannion, who has just committed to D1 athletics at Cal Poly SLO. Our Vista girls flag football team has also done very well this year and is #1 in league. At Vista, we incorporate coach and player conferences within our athletics to ensure that our student athletes feel adequately represented and supported. Vista also has 230-plus scholar athletes, meaning that these players have a GPA of 3.5 and above.
For Club Rush, we recently held a 3-day Club Rush because we have so many different communities here at Vista. This 3-day Club Rush highlighted many different pathways for cultural, educational, as well as recreational clubs. This year, we expanded clubs into a new branch called Groups. In total, we have 120 plus new spaces for each and every student to connect to. Campus Outreach also allows various clubs to become more involved in campus via outreaches. At Vista, our culture allows us to become closer together, connecting various different aspects. Most Fridays, you can see a jam-packed student section throwing patter at the same time, or everyone dressed up on theme during our various spirit weeks. Vista also allows us to celebrate many cultural events as well. Our Diversity Council will host Diwali Night in October, and currently, our student government is celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And also, we will have festivities for Filipino Heritage Month as well. We also allow students to connect to students with events like Wellness Week and Vista Be Kind Week. Recently, our freshman orientation allowed our student government to allow incoming freshmen feel welcome and connected here at Vista.
Recently, the student government here at Vista put on the Welcome Back Rally to signify the start of the school year and get students excited for what's to come. Each grade competes through spirit points to be the most spirited class. This involves many factors such as bleacher decorations and overall class participation. This rally also highlights our staff and teachers as well as our amazing CME and cheer team. This rally is conducted by our 5 public relations commissioners that orchestrate games and chants in order to make it as interactive and as fun as possible for our student body.
Lastly, we'd like to thank Mr. Leinhardt for an incredible first year so far, and thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Did the board have any questions to the students of Vista at all? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, go to item 5. A, superintendent reporting out of closed session.
Nothing to report.
All right, item 6, adoption of agenda.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Laird,
I'll second.
second by Board Member Lofthouse. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes. Ms. Lopez Petracca? Aye. Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you. Item 7, agenda consent.
Board President, we have
Yes.
we have a request for item O, approve revised board policy 5145.3, non-discrimination harassment for public comment.
Okay. Item O will be pulled. I will entertain a motion on the others.
I'll move that we adopt the consent agenda except for item O.
I'll second.
Moved by Board Member Reed, second by Board Member Lofthouse. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to item O, Superintendent.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like there's a community comment on item O. It is board policy on non-discrimination and harassment. Let me pull up the notes real quick for item O. Stand by. I promise I'll find them. Here we go. This policy was reviewed by the Board Policy Subcommittee on September 17th, 2025. This policy has been updated to reflect CSBA recommended revisions to reflect court decision Tennessee versus Cardona, which vacated nationwide the Title IX regulations, which took effect August 1st, 2024, to reflect new law SB 1137, which updated the UNRRA Civil Rights Act, the California Fair Employment and Housing Act, and the Educational Equity Chapter of the Education Code to provide that prohibited discrimination includes discrimination not just because of one protected class under state law, but also because of the combination of two or more protected classes. To clarify, in accordance with the various provisions of state and federal law and related court cases, the actual or perceived characteristics of an individual or group that may serve as a basis for unlawful discrimination, education programs and activities. And finally, CSBA made these revisions to make permissive when a student has been suspended or other means of correction have been implemented for an incident of racist bullying, harassment, or intimidation. The 1, engagement of a victim and perpetrator in restorative justice practices. 2, engagement of the perpetrator in culturally sensitive programs. And 3, regular checks on the victim to ensure the victim is not in danger of suffering from a long-lasting mental health issues, as these measures are encouraged rather than required by state law.
All right, I understand that there is a public comment.
Yes,
Go ahead and entertain that
Mr.
now.
Smith, can you please come to the podium?
Mr. President, Board, Mr. Swanson, and the district. This is a protected characteristics I was talking to you about, Mr. Swanson. I read the details of here, and with the OCR, that would be federal. However, I don't see any mention of teacher discriminating. So the language that I'm requesting you guys to consider or add, that if there is of question teacher act of discrimination, retaliation, and so forth as the policy folds out, as well as the case folds out, that there either the parent be notified or the district makes reference to CTC, which is the Commission on Teachers' Credential. I wish I knew about this back 4 years ago, so I can make the reports of people who are violating. For instance, when the CDE ruled that actions were done, Ms. Williams' actions were done out of retaliation discrimination, there should have been an automatic reference or this department known. What I've read is the district policy, it's either supposed to be the superintendent or the principal. But nobody has talked about this. The policy talks about students retaliating. Now, Faith has met an enormous amount of that at the Folsom High School. But yet, we've been shunned by the district, treated as an outsider. Again, I put her back into the school for her senior year, and within a few weeks, again, she's met with more retaliation, discrimination, and student comments. So if you're gonna have policies, you must follow them. There's multiple policies in this district that I've come across, and I noticed the common thing is to ignore them. You guys come up here, you make the policy, well, the district needs to follow the policy. When we deal with the math, it also starts to question the policies that are being violated.
27 seconds remaining.
I see the time. I made mention in the beginning, I'm gonna put a stop to this. So whether it's now or however, and all the new people, thank you for being a part. I'm excited.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Ms. Rochelle, any more comments from the public?
No more comments.
Hearing that, any online? All right, that's right. Totally forgot. All right, we'll bring it back to the board. Comments, questions? Motion?
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Larrett. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. We will move on to public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the direction of the board chairperson, and law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items.
Yes, we have O'Mara. If you could please come to the podium. Followed by Dana.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent Swanson. My name is O'Mara Johnson. I'm a community member of Rancho Cordova, a grandparent, and a longtime employee, or former employee. I just have been thinking about the innovative learning site that we have coming into Rancho. We have so many open spots in this district for employees that I would think maybe a consideration for putting something in place so that we could take our students who say are wanting to become teachers and direct them into a pathway where they could become a paraeducator, a SPED paraeducator, let them get the taste of it as they work to go through their college career. They have a substantial, not a great income, but they have an income working so that they could fulfill their dream of becoming a teacher. Educated in our own schools, educated and taught what we're expecting, what we would like to see. Not only does it work well for us, but it also works well for other districts. If we can help fill the shortage that is so sadly seen within our district, I think we have the opportunity right now to start making some choices on classes being set there. Also, my second subject was alternative or adaptive PE. I'm not sure how many high schools have that available. There should be. I'm 70 years old, and we had modified PE when I was in high school. I had friends that were taking honors classes but needed an adaptive PE due to a heart condition and they had IEPs. Our children that are taking AP classes and getting certificates of completion instead of a diploma because they didn't make the high school PE requirements
26 remaining, please.
is a shame. I would like to see that each high school, every school actually, have some kind of adaptive program, but high school especially, when those kids need those diplomas. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Dana, followed by Christina.
Good evening, members of the school board and superintendent. Thanks for giving us this opportunity to present our request here. We are here tonight speaking for a group of dedicated students and families. In our community, you will find a group of Asian American students who are taking the incredible challenge of mastering Chinese language. The need and the desire of learning Chinese is growing exponentially. Each year, there are more than 100 students who sign up for Chinese classes at Folsom Chinese Community School, and their AP Chinese class has averaged 15 students in the past few years, and the numbers are still growing. Their goal is the AP Chinese exam, the best chance to validate their hard work and inspire other students from all backgrounds. However, their journey is harder than it needs to be. For the past few years, for the final hurdle, they have to drive 150 miles to the Bay Area to take the AP exam. So they have to miss school, reschedule finals, stay in hotels, and their families spend more than $500 to take this single exam. This is not just inconvenience. This is a barrier that tells our students their efforts not valued. Let's make change. We have been asking over the past few years and will continue to ask for your support to host the AP Chinese exam at Folsom High School starting this year. This is not a new concept for Folsom High School. They have successfully hosted the AP Chinese exam in the past. The experience and the infrastructure are there, and we, parents, pledge our full support to help make it happen. With the AP registration deadline approaching, we are seeking an update on the district's progress towards to its commitment to offer more AP exam this year. What is the current status, and when can we expect the confirmation of AP Chinese exam? The request is about more than a test site. It's about what we valued as a school district. Our goal here aligns with the College Board mission to
30 seconds
provide
remaining,
all
please.
students with access to college-level opportunity. They encourage schools to offer exams where student demand exists. It is the time for the school district to make the decision. By approving Folsom High School to be a pioneer Chinese AP site, you are answering the call and sending a powerful message to all of students and families. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Christina, followed by Nicole.
Good evening, Board President Clark, members of the board, trustees, and Superintendent Swanson. My name is Christina Maddox, and I am a parent of a fourth grader at Theodore Judah Elementary School. I'm here tonight because I am deeply concerned and frankly frustrated by the ongoing instability in my daughter's education. My daughter is now experiencing for the second time a school year disrupted by staff turnover and reliance on substitutes. In second grade, she endured months of rotating substitutes. That year, very little instruction took place, and the classroom environment deteriorated due to unmanaged behaviors and the absence of routine. As a result, she entered the third grade performing at a first grade level in both reading and math. My husband and I spent thousands on tutoring to get her to grade level, and now? Once again, we find ourselves in the same situation. A class without a permanent teacher, revolving door of substitutes, and no clear plan in place. This week alone, her class has had 4 substitutes and another new one tomorrow. This week has been spent with very little learning. They have had excessive screen time and other time fillers. Behavior in the classroom is quickly deteriorating, and it's something that comes directly from a lack of consistency and structure. Today, my 9-year-old daughter asked me, if we can't have the same substitute while we wait for a teacher, why can't we at least have the same one for a couple of days? My heart aches because I cannot agree more. What's most frustrating in this situation is that it could have been avoided. Last spring, the district decided Theodore Judah's enrollment didn't justify 2 core 4th grade classes, so the teacher our principal had lined up was transferred or let go. Then, less than a week before school started, a second 4th grade class was reinstated, but with no permanent teacher. At that time, there was a substitute who was both willing and capable of taking on the role permanently, but she was replaced a few weeks in by a teacher whose own class had been dissolved at a different school. Less than a month later, that teacher was given the option to return to her original class, and she took it. She even told the children that it was her choice to take it, which reopened painful feelings of abandonment that many of them had already been carrying from the second grade experience. That is simply unacceptable. I'm curious why the stability of our students was not the highest priority. Many of the students in this class come from challenging home environments, and for them, school is a safe place, a place of consistency, structure, and support. But instead of having that, they are faced with constant staff changes and revolving door of teachers. So I'm just asking that we hire and retain a permanent 4th grade teacher without delay, and if we could please provide a consistent long-term substitute in the interim, not a daily shuffle of new faces, new rules, and new expectations. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole, followed by parent 1.
Make sure I'm the only Nicole. Good evening, Superintendent and Board. As you might guess, I'm here to talk about math. I was unable to come last time. There were 2 reports that touched on math that I'd like to discuss a little bit. So the first was the math pilot. Hopefully you had time to look at it, and you'll see that it looks like everything is going wonderful. Very interesting. That meeting was September 18th, but the secondary pilot was put on hold September 10th, and you were not told about that. I'm not sure why, because the curriculum is not available. We, the teachers of the district mentioned this back in May, that the curriculum was not written yet for integrated math. We follow the integrated math pathway. we mentioned this was going to be a problem. It was completely disregarded and everything went ahead. Now we find ourselves starting the year, teachers have volunteered to teach this new curriculum and have been put off and put off and put off until the program was finally put on hold because we have no idea when the curriculum is going to be written and able to be evaluated. Sadly, the report doesn't tell you anything of that. It makes it look like everything's going just great and that we have 3 curriculums to choose from. This is not true. There is only one curriculum that's available right now, and so we cannot evaluate curriculums when there is only one choice. This demonstrates the continual ignoring of our faculty. They are experts. They have done this for 20 and 30 years. They have deep experience, and yet the administration goes off and makes plans, does not consult with them, does not listen to them when they bring up things in meetings when they've finally been invited. And this person is in charge of planning all sorts of things for our students. How can we trust them when they will not listen to our experts, our teachers, when they will not make good plans and notice that, yes, we don't have enough curriculum yet. It's too early to evaluate curriculums if they haven't been written. I had an experience in college, I don't know if you had one, where a professor was writing their own book and I had to go to the copy center and get a giant stack of paper that was my textbook for the semester. This is engineering statistics. It was grammatically a nightmare.
30 seconds remaining,
And
please.
this reminds me of that awful experience that we want to be the guinea pigs to try out these textbooks first. It would be wise to let some other districts go first. And we obviously need to have curriculum that we can actually test in the classroom to be available to evaluate something. Thank you.
Thank you. Parent 1, followed by parent 2.
Thank you, Mr. President and the board members. We are here on behalf of parents of AP Physics at Vista del Lago High School, and I have a group of my colleagues and parents here. Today, we are presenting on our concerns about AP Physics 1 class at Vista del Lago High School. Our concerns are lack of instructional support, poor learning environment, students being set to fail, and demotivation and demoralization of the students causing mental health distress. Firstly, STEM classes are based on conceptual understanding. This is an algebra-based course, and students who have taken IM3 should be able to do well in this class. Yet, instructional quality is substandard, as students are struggling with concepts and their applications. Students are spending hours at home trying to master the concepts, which should have been part of in-class instruction. Students are overwhelmed, and this class is affecting their performance in other classes. The students are told that exams are reflective of materials provided in class and are based on study guides and progress checks. We thought that first summative exam might have been difficult, but by the second summative exam, students realized that none of the test questions aligned with the materials they were provided, setting them to fail in this exam and losing their trust in our system. The classroom has been a study hall structure over the last 3 weeks, and there is no formal instruction provided in this class. Even when students are approaching teacher for questions, they're dismissed and they're asked to figure it out by themselves or go get your tutor. My kid feels intimidated and feels that teacher is not approachable. A core of science classes is based on lab work, yet students are bringing labs home, spending 3 to 4 hours on it because they do not know what the expectation is. Lab assessments do not follow any rubric. Every student is graded on how the teacher feels about it. We also noted that the teacher follows her perception to grade FRQs rather than concepts or problem solving, and there is no uniform grading across the class. My child is struggling, crying, and is self-doubting despite succeeding in past AP classes. My child feels that they're dumb, they're useless, and they cannot succeed in life. They cannot sleep well, they are stressed out. We're told that this class is supposed to prepare them for college, but my kid is so
3
defeated
seconds remaining.
that they feel that they're not good enough for college. I cannot see my child going through this emotional pain. We even approached the administration to improve this distressing environment. And if they cannot, please allow us to withdraw from this class without penalizing. We cannot allow this emotionally overwhelming situation that does not support our students' well-being. We request board members to treat these concerns with urgency. We await your decision to support our students' morale and invest in their future. Thank you.
Parent 2, followed by parent 4.
Good evening, board members. I'm here to bring attention to a serious issue affecting juniors in AP Physics 1 at Vista Del Lago, taught by Miss Lisa Moore. Many students are working extremely hard, spending hours studying, using the resources provided, but they are still struggling or failing. This is not from a lack of effort. The problem is misaligned test, lack of instructional support, poor communication, and the unexplained removal of the grading curve. The impact on students has been severe. Many are stressed, anxious, and demoralized. Instead of addressing the root cause, the school is directing students back to the teacher. While mental health is important, counseling alone does not solve the instructional problems. Students need fair assessments, guidance, and support in the classroom. As a parent, I can share a personal perspective. I have 2 older children who graduated from Vista. I've seen them face rigorous coursework, but I never saw them this stressed or anxious. You may say each child is different, but I know the curriculum is demanding, and I also know that other teachers empower their students to succeed by providing study guides and support tools like grading curves. In this class, that's missing. My child studies longer hours for AP Physics than for any other AP or honors classes. In their other advanced classes, they're performing well. But in AP Physics, despite all the efforts, they're struggling. That tells me the cause is not that the students are not putting the effort, but the lack of effective instructions. We are told that removing the curve prepares students for college. Unfortunately, that's not true. Most college courses use curves. My child has even taken college classes and done just fine in those. The problem here is not whether students can handle college-level work or not. It's that they are not being given the tools and instruction they need to succeed in this course. We have tried to resolve this. Parents have emailed the teacher, met with the counselor and vice president, contacted the principal, a board member, the superintendent. So far, the issue has only been redirected without resolution. Our requests are simple and reasonable. Provide clear study guides that reflect the content of the test, not random questions that are supposed to be preparing them for the college. And the second item, I ask that reinstate the grading curve to ensure the fair academic standards. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Parent 4, followed by parent 5.
Good evening, board members. I'm here today as a deeply concerned parent of a student in Vista Del Lago High School enrolled in AP Physics. With a genuine passion for physics, my child entered the school year enrolled in both AP Physics 1 and 2. Curious, motivated, excited to explore the subject. After speaking with my child and reviewing their experience of AP Physics class, it's clear that the lack of consistent and effective teaching in the classroom has played a significant role and has made it difficult to stay motivated and confident in the subject. Absence of foundational concept has not been clearly taught. Lack of structured teaching, engagement, and academic support has not only affected their performance, but also their passion for the subject. As a direct result, my student has chosen to unenroll in AP Physics 2 next semester. And this is a similar situation with other students in the AP Physics 1 class, dropping interest not to pursue AP Physics 2 anymore. This decision wasn't made lightly, but it reflects the discouragement and the lack of confidence that has developed due to the absence of meaningful teaching, support, and grade policy, which is grade policy change that is set to fail the student. It's about the missed opportunity to nurture a passion for science and the long-term impact it can have on academic confidence and future aspirations. I respectfully ask the board to look into the current teaching resources of AP Physics at Vista del Lago High School and consider steps to ensure that students receive quality instruction and fair grading. With the midterm starting October 9th, I respectfully ask the board to look into the concerned matter at the earliest. As if CUSD mission statement begins with, FCUSD is committed to providing excellence in education programs that carry high expectation for each student's success. So board, we are hoping you will support our students' success as a priority in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Parent 5, followed by parent 6.
Hello, good evening everyone. I'm a concerned parent of the Vista del Lago AP Physics student. So as all the parents said, I agree with all the points. I don't want to repeat the same. Most of the children in the AP Physics class facing the same issues. It's not of lack of their effort. How much ever they struggle, they are said to in the class to fail or getting very lower grades. It's very demoralizing for them. And one important thing is curve is removed in this year, which is affecting them drastically. And kids are feeling emotionally black. So it's not good. So it's our responsibility for the kids' emotional support to provide them not only academically, but just an example, in last year, if you see the same AP Physics student, though they get 81%, they're still in the A grade because of the curve grading. Same student who gets the 89.5% also this year, still in B grade. So the college, it's not at all fair. It's very unfair for the students. So whoever applying for the colleges, they will see the grading on the GPS. They don't know whether the students go through curve or not. So at this point, I request to bring back the curve so to support the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Parent 6, followed by Han.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for your time and allowing us to share our concerns. Like many parents here tonight, I'm not going to repeat some of those things, but definitely about my child who's experiencing the same stress, anxiety over this class. You wouldn't want to be in our household on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. That's the day before the test or the day of the test. Simple questions like, how was your day? Or what did you learn today? What happened today has become a difficult conversation in our household. I hope none of us have to go through this, or none of the students have to go through this anxiety, stress, frustration, tension. No family should go through this. Tonight, as you've heard, we've spoken about a pattern of issues in the AP Physics 1 class at Vista del Lago. Issues that just go beyond grades. At the core, our students are facing inadequate instructional quality with teaching methods that are not effectively supporting their learning. They're also experiencing dismissive and discouraging behavior from the teacher, something that's impacting not just academics, but student confidence and mental well-being. And I quote that. The materials used in class often feel like busy work, not tools for deep understanding. Even more concerning, the progress checks give students a false understanding or a false sense of preparedness for the test, only for them to go find out that whatever they've been tested or on that material, it was never emphasized, it was never taught. That's not a learning experience, in my opinion. That's a confidence-breaking one. On top of that, like many parents have said, removal of the grading curve, which by the way was not informed to parents, either verbally or written, which this has been a consistent part of AP Physics 1 in past years, has made success in this class even more difficult. Not because students aren't capable, but because the support systems, the tools are no longer in place for them to succeed. It has added unnecessary pressure and widened the gap between current students and those who came before them. We also believe in the importance of STEM education, but if students have an early experience in a STEM course that feels this demoralizing or unsupported,
30
we
seconds
risk
remaining,
pushing
please.
them away from these critical fields. We want to be clear. We are here not to attack on educators, nor is our intent to put blame on anybody, but to advocate for our children and future students. We believe in the school system. We believe in the power of strong public education. And we believe that with your leadership, this issue can be resolved constructively. We're asking for accountability, transparency, and immediate steps as time is of the essence. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Han, followed by Earl.
Good evening, Superintendent, Board President, and Board members. My name is Han Lai. I'm a parent of Folsom kids. I have two kids, one in high school, one in middle school. I'm here to support our bilingual families and communities, to strongly urge the leaders and the board members to consider add a second viable location for kids to take AP Chinese exam. For the past 10 to 15 years, since the start of Folsom Chinese School, the parents and teachers at school has been reaching out to schools and district to open up a test location in Folsom. And a couple of years ago, for a very short period of time, it had worked out. But it's a very short time, and for whatever reason that unknown to us, it was shut down after like very short period of time. And every year, there's about 20 to 50 students who are ready to take the exam, the AP exam, and they have to really travel far away. And you heard from another parent speak before me, not just to Bay Area, but I heard some of my friends, they have to send their kids to SoCal or even to out of state because there's just no spots open near us. So it's very expensive, as you can imagine, with the travel, and very stressful for the kids, and very time-consuming as well. And that include kids miss school days, and parents missing their work days. Throughout the years, parents have been getting promising messages from district and schools that it is coming, but so far, nothing has been solidified. So as those of you who are raising bilingual kids, you probably can understand how much those kids have come a long way in order to reach the AP level, in order to take the exam. So it shouldn't be really that hard to make their life easier, find a viable and sustainable location. So what we're asking is very simple and nothing unrealistic or politically debatable. There's something that district had it before at one point. We just would like to see it reestablished and here to stay.
30 seconds
so that our
remaining.
kids do not have to go that far to take an exam that they worked so far for. And that also show our students that our district, our leaders value their effort, and also show that you all value the bilingual community. Thank you all.
Thank you. Earl, followed by Xizing.
Good evening, Board, President Clark, Mr. Swanson. I want to first point out all these families that are dealing with this issue at Vista, they're Indian. I've got the pleasure of moving to Folsom to get close to the Indian community. It takes a lot of guts for that culture to get up on a public thing and make mention. I asked one of the parents, what nationality is the teacher? He said, white. When I came here, I got a job because I didn't know how to teach in a regular setting as far as private music lessons. The owner of the business I got a job from was white. And he made marks to me about Indian students that just dropped my jaw because it was racial. It was like a remark I would hear back in Orange County being Black. So I'm just pointing this out. I don't know, I've been digging in. I realized the course outline from the district concerning jazz band and jazz choir is from February 2004. It says prerequisite. Anyone enrolled in 0-period music class must be either enrolled in concert band or have 2 years of concert band or orchestra at the high school level or at the director's discretion. Folsom High put out for approved in January of this year, prerequisite for jazz band. This is just Folsom High. Audition by director. Concurrent enrollment in concert band or completed 3 years of concert band or orchestra at the high school level, only at the director's discretion. Those two are supposed to line up. That's different legal language. The Curricular Academic Committee. You gotta understand that this district has a lot of students that wanna go to Ivy League schools. I believe people that is in that committee should have had some experience either sending students to that kind of level or they've been at that kind of level. Because now I see where the bottom of all our complaints come from. You wanna be the best school district in California? Deal with the education as far as with the curriculum.
Thank you.
You'll never get there. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next commenter, Shazing.
Good evening, board members. I'm here to request the AP Chinese test site. In fact, it's not our first try to have this. We used to have this test site in Folsom, which means we have the capability and experience here. But for no reason, the site is gone. And now all the kids have to travel, like Dana and Han mentioned earlier. And we sent emails, request some in-person talks year by year, but it went nowhere. Now the Chinese AP opens tomorrow, registration opens tomorrow, will be ended in the middle of November. I think it's November 15. So I'm asking, what is the timeline for this issue? Do we really care the diversity? Like the school or even like California said, diversity is important. But now to us, it's more like a saying. We don't feel we are valued. We don't feel it's fair for the Chinese kids or Chinese American kids live in this great school district, have to travel for an AP test. So please, if possible, let us know a timeline. We can book in-person appointment to your office, talk to you like at your convenience. But please make it happen quick. Please, this year, not again, next year we will consider it. This year, please. When we go back, we will email some of board members, if not all, hope we can talk and push this to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. That was our final requested comment.
Thank you, Ms. Rochelle. We are going on to item 10, reports of district organizations. We'll start off with our Student Advisory Board.
So today we had our second SAB meeting at Sutter Middle School. At this meeting, we had committees meet with each other for the first time that we assigned days before. We also had a special presentation by one of our student advisory board members, Janya, on decreasing food waste. And we also got ideas for International Night and Winter Festival, which we are trying to plan on early.
So at the beginning of the meeting for our icebreaker today, I had everyone write on Post-it notes one characteristic of a strong leader that they appreciate and something that they try to do as student leaders to represent like good values. And so I wanted to read some that like stood out to me. One person, Arissa, she wrote that a strong leader takes initiative and has good morals and they make others feel heard. And Bella was talking about what she tries to do as a leader. She said that I want to try to be responsible and establish good communication with others and also create strong relationships. And Ria said that I try to always be on top of things and give out reminders. And then one more is I also try to be confident, a good listener, and I try to be honest. So I just thought I'd share some of those from our activity because I thought those are very meaningful and demonstrate how our students are very mindful of how they interact with others. And I'm very proud of our SAB members for participating in that activity. And in addition to that icebreaker, we did a lot of voting today. They decided they're student ambassadors, so these will be the one person from all the middle schools and 2 from all the high schools that will communicate with me and Eveline for future projects and also update the rest of SAB at all of our SAB meetings about what's going on at their respective school sites. So that's very exciting. They got to like pitch to the people at their in their school and like pretend to like campaign, and it was a cool experience for them. We also got to hear about voting for KCRA 3 to come cover the Cordova v. Antelope game. Mr. Maroon was talking about that and encouraging students to vote for that. We also voted on our upcoming podcast episodes. So Ria, our communications officer, she and her shadow Miriam were talking about making a long form podcast episode for this month with inviting students to talk about the topic of college admissions. So I'm very excited to see how that kind of comes together. And yeah.
All right, thank you. California School Employees Association.
Good evening, board. I'm here to fill in for Rob Korn. I'm O'Meara Johnson. I was former vice president of CSEA, former president of CSEA, and now I sit on the negotiation table. We'd like to thank the district for approving the agenda consent tonight, our compensation packets, our TAs on the agenda, and thank them for the approval in these matters. We're still working very hard together with the district on our Article 8, and we hope that at this negotiations that we can come to some conclusions. We are also excited that we are sending out a staff experience survey, and we're excited to get the reports back from that. The information that we gather from there. I'd also like to thank Dave Bird for attending our last meeting. It was very nice to meet you. And we appreciate the district's consideration in this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Folsom Cordova Education Association.
Good evening, board, FCUSD administrators, certificated and classified staff, and community members. I have a short report tonight. During the agenda consent, this board approved 4 MOUs. 2 were to help staff with collaborative work, and the others were to streamline processes and become more efficient. Stay tuned for more as we work through the evaluation process, special education language, and due process, our 3 focus areas this year, along with compensation and benefits for the 2026-27 school year. Parallel to our focused CBA work on due process, FCA held a rep council training where we reviewed Weingartner rights and had hard-to-have conversations. For those of you who don't know, Weingartner rights is the right to bring union representation to a meeting that has the possibility of evaluative or disciplinary outcomes. We role-played the power of no, how to collaborate and partner with site administration to problem solve, and to demonstrate how to staff mediate and improve PLC practices. Our feedback was great, and it's something we will repeat and improve upon. As always, FCA is determined to improve the communication line of all parties while continuing to focus on what's important to make our students lifelong learners and to have a safe place for all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Good evening, President Clark, members of the board, Superintendent Swanson, and esteemed colleagues. As we move through this school year, we continue to witness inspiring stories of leadership, moments where site leaders are creating meaningful experiences that leave lasting impressions on our students and families. So, a little peek behind the curtain. At the start of each of our district management meetings, we take the time to celebrate these moments. And they're not random. They are rooted in positive behavioral intervention and supports. And these are systems that we have embraced. And this year, 32 of our schools earned statewide recognition of their implementation of the PBIS systems. 3, in particular, elementary schools, achieved the highest honor of platinum status. And so Rancho Cordova Elementary made a remarkable leap from bronze to platinum in just 2 years, and thanks to the dedication and leadership of Anna Chitwood and her team. At Cordova Gardens, Principal John Bliss and his students truly soar as regal eagles. And at Williamston Elementary School, Principal Leslie Cottrell and her Wildcats continue to roar, earning platinum status year over year for multiple years now. And so congratulations to all these schools that are recognized. These achievements, though, are reminders that as we navigate through high reliability school framework, that the culture is the level 1 foundation of everything that we do. And these are examples of what it means to be deeply connected to the unique makeup of each of our unique schools, their students, their staff, and their community. So thank you for your support with this.
All right, thank you. District English Learner Advisory Committee.
President Clark, members of the board, Superintendent Swanson, there he stepped out. And to all of my esteemed colleagues, welcome, and it's great to be here tonight. I do have a report for DLAC. We held our meeting on Tuesday, September 23rd, and our 2-year election cycle was up, and we held elections. I want to congratulate our chairperson, Ana Silvia Pimentel, who will continue as our president chairperson. Our co-chair is Gabby Flores. And our secretary is Tiara Hopkins. The group decided to add a secretary, and they wanted to have a school representative. So let's congratulate our new officers for DLAC. Yeah. We are going to have our next DLAC meeting on November 4th. It will be virtual. That's another discussion we had with the board last year, or the officers last year, is to have a share of in-person and virtual meetings so that we can support their needs and make sure that people can attend in the way that they're able to. But we also have something to look forward to. I believe you all have a flyer, but it's our Parent Summit that's coming up, and that's in partnership with our DLAC folks. This is an invitation to all parents, and many of you have been there as board members and my colleagues as well. We have featured a lot of things in our districts, and anything that we feature at Parent Summits really comes directly from the parents' curiosity, their questions they want to know more about. We really do try to focus on fostering connections to the different organizations, the different programs in the district. And this year I found it to be very interesting. I had a lot of interest in learning more about the committees that are held in our district. Parents that we ask parents to get involved and they don't always understand what, say, a school site council is, or what's an ELAC, and what's the difference between that and a PTA. And so really having an opportunity to bring our committee. So that's what the focus will be, is having a roundtable discussion with different committee representatives, including our student advisory board will be there. So our parents will have an opportunity to rotate from tables to table and really learn from the people who are in part of those committees and get that information. So we're excited to have that. We invite you to come join us. And we're going to be kicked off that morning by our equity leaders so that we are focused on connectedness and making sure that parents understand and have all the information they want on the committees and ways that they can be involved. Thank you so much. And that's our report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cabrera. Looking at board committees, any reports?
I have a few reports. So for facilities committees, we are hopping. I think there was 5 meetings related to facilities last week. So some exciting things is we had 6 meetings last week for R&S schools to go over new branding guides. And so that was like very exciting. We got some parent input and site input, and we'll be having some future meetings. But the motivation behind that is to really get a very strong branding presence for each of our schools as we move into our new facilities. And so there were some really good conversations about that. And I'm looking forward to kind of what we see our consultants come back with as far as some branding initiatives. And we'll have future meetings for the public to kind of weigh in on some of those options that we have. We also, I was able to go to Denver with district staff to Cherry Creek. And we went and saw a very innovative school there. And I'm excited that as we kind of like unpack everything that we saw there of some initiatives, including actually they have a pathway for teaching. So I think Omero is like right on point with what we had just seen. They have a very similar program, what you were speaking of, which was like a very, I think one of the most innovative and like one of the most exciting things that they really presented, which was really super cool. So we are also working on the comprehensive plan. And if you haven't seen it yet, we do have a link to our parent surveys at your sites of what you would like to see in your comprehensive plan. So we're hoping for like 2,000. I think we had just around 450 parents and students that had weighed in so far. But if you can fill that out, it just gives us a better guide to what it is that the families are wanting and desiring out of their comprehensive plan as well. So we'll be putting that all together and getting the website launched in the near future so that we have a very clear pathway for what we will be doing with facilities over the next decade or so. And that's pretty much all I have.
Right, thank you, ma'am. Any other board committee reports? All right, hearing none, we will move on to item 11, discussion action. A, approve the purchase and installation of modular buildings at Riverview STEM Academy, Bioplex Incorporated, utilizing the piggyback contract through Merced River School District. Superintendent.
Yes, sir. I'd invite Jerry Wickham up to the microphone. I'll try to handle it all, Jerry, but if I have questions, I may need you for this. As a reminder to the board and the community, last year we were really excited to announce that we were expanding the very successful program at Riverview STEM from a K-5 model to a K-8 model. And upon that announcement, the facilities team, as always, worked incredibly diligently and effectively in securing 2 portable buildings to add to the campus so that this year we could host 6th graders for the first time at Riverview STEM. With that said, as we go next year for the 26-27 school year to expand to the full K-8, this item is addressing adding a more permanent set of buildings for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders on that facility. Did I do okay, Jerry? Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take it out to the public. Public comments?
No comments.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I'll bring it back to the board. Any additional comments, questions? At that time, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse.
I'll second.
Second by Student Board Member Addy. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item 11, Section B, approval of superintendent contract 2025-2026 school year.
First, I'd like to thank Jerry for her amazing
Yes,
presentation. Jerry Wickham, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great.
Appreciate you. Yeah, so the next 4 items on this agenda are regarding contracts for the superintendent, as you see, the assistant superintendent of educational services, assistant superintendent of student services, and assistant superintendent of administrative services, which is a new title that is our current chief business official transitioning his title based on new responsibilities. A reminder to the board that we're bringing these contracts forth today because our legal counsel pointed out to us over the summer that there was some language in all of our contracts that opened up the district around work days. And so that was the impetus to look at these contracts to bring this up to protect the district around the interpretation of vacation and work days, because it was noticed by legal counsel that the interpretation was that we were only expected to work far less days. So we all like working really hard, and so we wanted to bring the contracts to your attention for that, to give that up, so to speak. And then also, as you notice, there are, well, at least on this team, there's one new member, Dr. Shauna Pitt, as well as Sean and Jim were on contracts that didn't align to the superintendent's contract, as in their years. And so this new team wanted to bring this back so that the 3-year proposals, 3-year contracts aligned. And then, as always, contracts around compensation to keep us competitive with the districts around us, because this is an incredible, not speaking for myself, but the 3 other folks, an incredibly talented team, and we want to keep them here in Folsom Cordova Unified School District.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Any comments, questions from the board? Hearing none, this is a discussion action item, so I will take it out to the public for any comments. Ms. Rochelle?
No public comments.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll bring it back to the board. We're looking at B, so approval of the superintendent's contract. I'll entertain any comments and or a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Larrett.
I'll second.
I second. Oh.
Go ahead.
Second by Student Board Member Addy.
No, it's not Addie. It was Evelyn.
Oh, Emily. Okay. Evelyn.
What, Addie, you're not seconding my contract?
Okay.
Oh,
For record, Evelyn, Student Board Member Evelyn.
I'll do so enthusiastic tonight.
Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, with that being said, before we move on to item C, just wanted to say that we have approved a 3-year employment contract for the superintendent, Eric Swanson, with the annual salary of $324,500. That was just voted on. All right, we will move on to item C.
Yes, item C, I've already prefaced why we're bringing this to the board. I'm recommending the board approve a 3-year employment contract for the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Dr. Jim Hubert, with an annual salary of $256,864.
Any questions, comments from the board? Again, this is a discussion action item. We will take it out to the public.
No public comments.
Thank you, ma'am. Back to the board. Any final comments and or a motion?
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse.
I'll second. I just wanted to give it a minute.
Second by Board Member Larrett. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to item D.
Yes, item D is regarding the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, and I'm recommending the board approve a 3-year employment contract for the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, Dr. Shauna Pitt, with the annual salary of $256,864.
Right, any comments from the board? I will say, welcome aboard, and I'm glad we stole you from Scully, so welcome back home. This being a discussion action item, I do give the opportunity for the public.
No public comments.
Hearing none, we'll bring it back to the board for any final comments and/or a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse.
I'll second.
Which one? Oh, second by Student Board Member Abby. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Shalom-Sherla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. And we are down to item E.
Yes, this is for our Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services. I'm recommending the board approve a 3-year employment contract for the Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services, Sean Martin, with the annual salary of $261,258.
All right, any comments from the board? Hearing none, this is a discussion action item. Any public comment?
We potentially could have one. Earl, if you could please come to the podium.
Good evening, Board, President Clark, Mr. Swanson. This comment is not just for this agenda, but for the last two as well, including your salary. You know, I believe superintendents should be paid well, as well as assistant superintendents. It's a hard job. You lead a whole community of kids, of parents. You're responsible for their future of their education. It deems a high salary. With all the complaints, I hope people will consider how much money you're getting paid, that you'll take time to address the issues that come forth. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I heard your education. I'm glad you're here. Even regardless of my filing, we're still good. As well as my 30 years in Folsom. Would I hear that right? Yeah, I'm glad you're here. But I will say, previous 3 years, I've met with a lot of people in the district. Assistant superintendents, principal, superintendent, compliance lady. My daughter and my words were all met with deaf ears. I had to do all the research to find the legal angle. The main filings I filed with the CDE has come back, we've won. It would be simpler, cheaper to listen and to come to a compromise. And I'm just hoping with this amount of money people are paid, they could just do that. We had a meeting with Principal Cadenhead right before I pulled Faith out. He was listening. He agreed with my points. He said, you know what? It makes no sense for a student who didn't do their homework to send them outside to do their homework during class time. I was like, yeah, you get it. It was easy. We walked out of there. Faith said that felt good. Why couldn't he always be like that? It's simple. Common courtesy. We teach it at the elementary level. Let's happen at the district level. You know, at the high staff level, especially when you're getting paid this much. Now, I don't know you guys, so this is not to you guys. I don't know you guys at all. But I'm speaking about our past experiences. I hope we can have more of that treatment. Thank you.
Thank you. That's our final comment.
All right, thank you, ma'am. We will move on to item 12.
We haven't had a vote on that.
Well, that's right, we sure didn't. I'm sorry, and whose contract was that
This is
anyway?
Sean Martin's.
Oh, he's not even here, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, so we'll bring it back to the board. Final comments and/or a motion?
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse,
A second.
second by Board Member Charlam. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, that being said, now we can move on to item 12, Superintendent's Report.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much. Appreciate the support from the governance team for this team. We are excited to do everything in our power to continue to drive forward, concentrating on our performance and process targets and making sure we're uplifting all of our students and staff in our community. So I do sincerely appreciate that. I want to thank all the parents that are here today and also online and the ones that send in their Google comments for their advocacy. As a parent myself of no longer high school students, I'm empty nesting, but of a 21 and 18-year-old, I just wanted to echo and sincerely appreciate the courage that it takes to come to a board meeting and fight for your kiddos. I just wanted to acknowledge and recognize that. I wanted to say specifically for the families that have been emailing regarding AP Chinese and the community members who came out to advocate for AP Chinese. I know there's a path forward here. Dr. Jim Huber is not in the room, but he has been collaborating with the school that was mentioned that teaches Chinese in Sacramento and the folks in charge there. We currently don't teach AP Chinese in our district, so there's a couple little loopholes that we have to get through to host an AP Chinese exam, and that is the goal for this year. So there's still some work to be done. I have no timeline to share with you right now, but that is the goal for us this year, especially with the quantity of young people that could benefit from the test. It takes a lot to host a test, so it's really hard for 1 or 2 or 3 people, young people that are maybe taking a test for a course we don't offer. But there's a critical mass of young people in our community that could benefit from an AP exam, and so I'm advocating for that, and I'll continue to work with Dr. Huber and see if we get that thing to the finish line. So I wanted to mention that. Amira, you made a couple comments. Thank you so much. I want to respond to a few. Future Teacher Pathway is a really passion of mine, and this conversation I started last year in my first year here. There's something that always happens in our world when we're trying to recruit teachers, especially teachers who look like our students, and all the adults sit in a room and are like, gosh, where do we go find those teachers that look like our students? And I always respond as loud as I can, our students look like our students. And we can, all the teachers and former teachers in this room can actually, we see future teacher behaviors in earliest TK and K. You see the future teachers in the room. As a former high school principal, at a school that had roughly 2,200 students, so there were about 550 freshmen every year. And I worked in a really diverse school. I had the pleasure of working in an amazing school community where 93% of the students were students of color. And in that community, when you asked them how many wanted to be teachers in that freshman class, about 10% every year raised their hand. So you got 50 young people, students of color, that want to be teachers. And we know the math that they don't end up as teachers, right? And that's always been a challenge of mine. So when I started a Future Teacher Pathway as a high school principal, but I said, if I'm fortunate enough to end up as superintendent, I'm going to make sure that I make that a priority of mine. So all last year, we were working to figure out how to establish the courses for CT, pathway for future teachers. There's a lot in child development that lends itself to it. We're also working with the Sacramento County Office of Education on their internships and apprenticeships and all that they have to make sure that we're offering opportunities for young people in our system to go to FLC or SAC at Folsom Lake College or SAC State. So whether you go the 2 or straight to the 4-year route, guaranteed enrollment with guaranteed employment. Probably have to talk to our union partners about that, but something along those lines would be really, really fantastic, and that's the goal, and we're driving towards that. One thing we learned at Cherry Creek, and you heard Trustee Larrett mention, they've actually figured out ways to partner with a junior college where the students can get a 4-year degree and a teaching credential by only attending the junior college. And what I mean by only is only the expense of a junior college. So students come out most often debt-free into the classroom. So I was in a big meeting, right? Jen could validate, 20 people. I said, I need your card, because the one woman in the room talking about that, I think that would be a model that we're really excited about. So it is something that's I'm really passionate about, and the team's really passionate about, and we're going to continue to drive towards that for sure. I also wanted to mention, we have a big thing in our district. A couple board meetings ago, we talked about legacy employees. We really want to grow our own. We want people in the Folsom Cordova Unified School District that grow up and graduate from our schools to come back and work in our schools. We've got a couple legacy employees on this board. We have a legacy employee sitting over there. There's legacy employees throughout our district. Kim, it looks like she's a legacy employee as well. So really important for us. So I wanted to mention that. I do want to say that also we have adaptive PE at all of our high schools. So you had mentioned that in one of your comment. I'm not supposed to respond to comments, but I wanted to honor your presence here, yeah, and acknowledge those responses. And then the last thing I'd like to say is, as many people know, that our focus this year as a district is on our performance target on system-wide connectedness. And system-wide being our students, staff, and families. And I believe it was already mentioned by you, Omira, that we talked about surveys, but I want to mention we're currently surveying our students with the Panorama survey around how they feel connected at school, and we're at about an 85% response rate. We're hoping for 90. Dr. Ayana Peace really drives that home. I've seen her emails coming, motivating the school leaders to make sure their students are taking that survey. Our data, when you see that data, which will be a presentation at a future board meeting, actually far exceeds the national norm for our students feeling connected, but we're about 1% better every day, and we always want to make sure that we're driving towards 100% of our students feeling seen and safe on our school campuses, and so our work is never done there. Next up, we have staff surveys that have been released. I don't know how the best way to say that. So I definitely want to thank the leadership of FCEA and CSEA for their partnership in this. It's really important for us as a system to know, along with our new leadership, Dave Bird, and people labor culture, really focusing in on do all of our certificated and classified and management teammates feel connected to their work? Do they feel supported? Do they have a sense of self-efficacy? Do they feel that they find joy in their work, working alongside their colleagues? And we're excited to see that data come back. We are partnering with an organization called Studer on a 3-year survey loop, and we're going to use this data as our baseline data to drive improvements to make sure that we're improving on making sure staff feel connected. And then finally, and I didn't plan on saying so much, sorry, that we have a family survey that's going to be sent out, if not already, pretty soon, and I believe it's coming in Parent Square. Is that correct, Angela? Yeah, and so all of our families in the district will be receiving a survey about how they feel connected to our district, and the goal on that is to get about a 60% response rate, which would be, you usually get about 30% on surveys, so 60% would be miraculous, and we're really hoping that our sites and our district can help our parents, because we definitely want to hear from our families about how where we're doing really well and where we're shining, to shine a light on that and spread that, but also where we can improve, because again, as a district that's focused on improvement, it's important. You have to be able to measure what you want to improve, and these surveys are going to be really an important tool for us as it relates to system-wide connectedness. So thank you for the time. That is my report, Mr. President.
Right, thank you. We'll head over to our board member reports. Start off with our student board members.
So before this board meeting, me and Addie had a quick meeting with the facilities department. And one things we did that were to get student input on classroom sizes, and we discussed an ASB room. And then as a student in ASB myself, I made sure to represent my ASB class, and then as well as other ASB commissioners and students. Next week at Cordova, we have homecoming week, so it's a very exciting week, but also a very chaotic week for many classes, especially ASB. On October 7th, we have Lancer Olympics. So it's like a rally of games, and we have the tradition of toga versus yoga. On October 9th, we have our Oktoberfest, which is food and activities in the quad. October 10th, we have, at the football game, we have royalty announced. The theme is Pink Out. And then we have our football game. I'm not sure who it's against, so. But on October 11th, then is when we have our homecoming dance. And I can't wait to get up early and go set up and make this a special night for everyone else. And all week we have float building, which is my favorite part of homecoming week because all of the classes come together, and then we also have students from the school come and help out, paint or like build their floats. And it's a really fun week. And then we also have Cordova's culinary cater for us every single day. And so each class gets to choose what we want, what everyone gets to eat. And today we had our senior panorama photo in the gym, and it sadly broke tradition because we always have it in the amphitheater, but it was pouring, so we had to move it to the gym. And we had our senior meeting where they discussed graduation dates and like cap and gowns and just other senior information. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Culinary who catered today from Cordova. They did an awesome job. I'm trying so hard not to be biased, but I do love my culinary. And then I'm excited to announce that Lancer Nation is becoming a club, or we already became a club, and we are working on our first meetings and where we're gonna have those. And that's it for me.
All right, thank you, Board Member Addy.
Yay. Okay. I first of all just want to thank everyone from Vista, Dom, Audrey, Miss Bell, and Mr. Lenhart for coming and presenting about Vista. It was a very cool presentation to watch, and yeah, I love my school. I hope you guys like enjoyed the video and everything because that was really cool. Everything that Evelyn was talking about that was happening at Cordova actually happened for Vista early. So last week, Vista was all decked out in homecoming, ready for the Friday night lights. And it was such a fun week. It was very chaotic, I bet. So just shout out to ASB and StuGov for putting on such a fun week that brought everyone together. We had float building. We had the game against, Bella Vista, I think. And it was a really cool football game. Christian Brothers, sorry. You were there. Yes. Thank you for coming to that. Yes. That was such a fun game, and then homecoming itself was super fun. So, yeah. And then Vista's midterms start next week. So, good luck to everyone who's taking midterms. That's not very exciting, but that's what's happening. And then the facilities meeting was really interesting because we got to see the blueprint for the Folsom Ranch High School, Middle School, and they got to listen to like our perspective on like what the school needs for students. So that was really cool. And then, let me see. Oh yes, I just wanted to talk about the public comments really quickly too. For the AP Physics people, I go to Vista, so I've like heard a lot of my friends talk about how stressful that class and also AP Bio as well. I just sympathize with those parents and those students who are very stressed out. And I know that like teacher shortages aren't necessarily something that like you can always control. And I know the science department in particular is low on teachers right now because there's a few on maternity leave, and there are certain teachers that are being shuffled around and teaching different subjects. So there's a lot of moving parts there. So I just want to say I sympathize with those students, and I hope that there's some like solution that can come out of that. And in regards, and I'm happy to hear that the AP Chinese stuff, that there's efforts going to help make sure that there's a test for those students. And I think that's all that I had.
Right, thank you. Board Member Chalanchella, and welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I just want to, quickly piggyback what Abby was talking about the AP Physics kids. I know, Swanson, you and I talked briefly as well. Midterms are coming next week, about 9th or 10th. Anything we can do. Mr. Leonardo, you're here as well, Phil, and Huber. Anything we can help those kids from now till that exam and feel them less stressful. That's important because this COVID made day into night, especially on the every human mental health. We don't want one more extra one. Yes, teachers has so much to control, but you as an administrators, please help them. I know you have some solutions, at least from now till exam time, anything you can help them to pass through this way, it's my request as a board member. It is for all the 23,000 kids, anybody is having the challenge. That's how I take it as well. So the other one is, in fact, I want to start with, congratulating all our Teachers Association for entering into contract. And my right-hand man here, Mr. Swanson, and all our assistant superintendents, congratulations. This is my first approval for my employee and all other executive team as well. The other one is Vista. I think they were coming and talking about the club rush. I think I push one club and it's on. It is a safety club. They drive the e-bike and the pedestrian safety. Thank you. I think Vista is the first one. I'll be coming to Cordova as well as Folsom High. It's very important. I know police department does their thing, but unless it comes from the kids, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. So thank you again for approving that club. And I'll be coming and speaking there, and I'll be inviting our, because we don't want to talk after the fact. Somebody hit a car. That's too late. Rather do proactively. Thank you again on that one. And along the same lines, I think next week, October 9th, 4:30, here at the district, we have a safety committee meeting. Please, parents, whatever the challenges you are facing about the safety, funnel to us. We do have the parent volunteers, parent representatives in that, but you are welcome to come to that meeting. Share your thoughts, safety meeting. And as our president was talking about, welcome back. I was in India for about 3.5 weeks. When I visited last time, Mr. President, I was a grandpa. When I visited last time, this time, I am a great grandpa. Yes. So my brother's daughter has a daughter. I love it. I love it. So I just want to share that happy moments with you. And thank you again for each and everyone, especially, all the administrators and teachers and staff, putting all your best to our kids. And by the way, teachers, CTE, I think I dreamt it, and you came and spoke about it. So that's a wonderful thing. We talk about everything, but we forget our own things. How do we prepare our next generation teachers? So I thought I dreamt it, but you're here. Thank you again for bringing. I'm on the CTE committee, so I'm very much interested to learn this outside the, think outside the box. That's what David Reed always says. Thank you again. Good evening.
All right, thank you. Board Member Reed.
Thank you. So my board report, I was debating on whether I speak during future agenda items or here, so I decided I'll do both because we don't usually get into a lot of the detail as to the rationale, so I figure I'll do this as part of the board report. I don't think this is going to become a surprise to anybody, but I would like the board to entertain bringing back the cell phone policy that the district has adopted for further discussion and potential revision. When the board adopted the cell phone policy originally in 2020, we were one of the first school districts in the nation to adopt a cell phone policy, including a ban at the time, K through 5th grade, semi-ban in middle school, and then no ban in high school. We revisited that several years ago where we extended the K-5 ban to K through 8, and with remarkable outcomes that we got feedback from the various school sites on. In that ban that we adopted several years ago, the students that are currently in 8th grade who've never experienced cell phone privileges in middle school are going to be going into high school next year. So I think this is the time to have the discussion of extending the cell phone ban straight through 12th grade. And, again, when we first approached this in 2020, we were the leading district, one of the leading districts in the country. Well, the following states have adopted a K-12 cell phone ban since when we took those actions. Let's see, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Rhode Island, Virginia, Ohio, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Oregon. We are not leading this anymore. And yet, study after study after study continues to show the harm that cell phones are doing to our students and the distraction that they're doing to education, and the disconnection students have among themselves because of cell phone distractions. So I will be asking to see if we have, I guess, at least 3 votes to put this on a future agenda to bring back to the board the extending the cell phone ban through 12th grade, starting with the next school year. So again, I wasn't sure whether to describe that here or the future agenda items. So, but anyway, that's all I have for my report this evening. Thank you.
Wait, can I ask really quickly? Would the cell phone ban be like you can't bring your phone to school, or like does the teacher like just take the phone? Like how would that work?
The current K through 8 ban, it's not, you can't bring it onto school property. You can. It just has to be powered off and, basically stowed away in the bottom. Off and away, and not to be brought out at any time during the school day. After the last bell, you can take it out and power up. Yeah, and so that would be it would not be a prohibition of bringing it on campus as long as it's powered off and stowed away. Yeah. That's all for my report.
Well, okay, once we get to the suggested future agenda items, we can talk about that and maybe get a consensus. Board Member Laird?
Yeah, I don't have too much to report. Wanted to thank Vista. I've been really enjoying our secondary reports. It's been super helpful to kind of see what's going on. And I particularly liked the future events that they were going to have because it's like, I do like to attend those. And so it's kind of nice to see everything kind of at a glance of what's coming up for that next season. So want to congratulate our labor partners on getting a consensus there as well. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. And then the only other thing I wanted to add is if you are coming to Cordova's homecoming game next week, we are going to be doing a teddy bear toss after the first quarter. So bring a new teddy bear or stuffed animal, and you're gonna toss it to the cheerleaders out on the track, and then those teddy bears will be donated to UC Davis Children's Hospital to their cancer ward. So if you're coming out, bring a new stuffed animal, and that's it.
Cool. Board Member Lofthouse?
I don't have much tonight either. I did want to acknowledge we received quite a few responses in regards to safety on our campuses, especially during after school hours due to an incident that happened at Folsom High. And so I did want to acknowledge that. And I wanted to personally thank the student that came forward to the coach and the coach who had very prompt reaction and sort of took it under control. And after speaking to him, he also had huge accolades for Mr. Eklund and Mr. Cadenhead in how prompt they were with their response and ensuring safety of all the students and the staff that was on campus before anything else. And so I did want to pass that along and know that the district is moving very quickly to make sure that we have systems in place to ensure that even after hours, our students and our staff are safe. So and the communication lines are open. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. I wanted to thank them for their reaction, and that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Lofthouse. I will close out, and you actually stole my thunder. However, I wanted to just mention him for the record by name. Mike Baker, the student's name was Brett Smith, and also to thank our Folsom PD for their quick response. And I'm hoping that next meeting we can recognize them at our board meeting, just to personally say thank you, for doing what they did and being attentive and alert. And that could have happened at any campus, not just Folsom. It could have happened at Vista. It could have happened at Cordova. So, I implore everyone, if you're on campus, be vigilant and always look out for things that don't look quite right. So hopefully next weekend we can just maybe do something special. Okay. Believe it or not, I don't have anything else. So we'll move on to item 14, advanced planning. Our next board meeting, superintendents for October 16th.
Yep, 2 weeks from tonight, we'll see you back here.
Yep, 12-month board calendar. And we will jump into now the suggested future agenda items. Mr. Reed, I hear you. And yeah, maybe it's a discussion that we need to have. I know it's been a discussion with CSBA, and as of right now, they have not taken a position on cell phones, but I'm pretty sure with the upcoming AEC conference and delegate assembly, that may hit the floor for further discussion. So if we do have that discussion regarding cell phones, I would rather wait until after AEC just to get a pulse and a vibe of what CSBA is talking about. But that's just my opinion. I will entertain any thoughts from the board of what they may want to do.
When's the conference?
It would only be 3 weeks after.
Yeah, it would be.
December, right?
Yeah, it's the first.
Three more meetings.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. I'm the chair, and I don't even know when the AC conference is.
Oh,
it's the first
yeah.
week of December.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do it in January. There's
I think that would probably be good.
yeah, it just needs to be done so there's enough time to
Sure.
If we decide to move forward for the next school year, to let people know.
Absolutely, and I also think it would be a good idea for our SAB to have a robust
I was just gonna say, I wanted
discussion on that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for, I'll definitely put that in the next SAB meeting to get like student input about that. And if I actually might invite people from SAB to like come speak in public comment about it. Yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
So I'm hearing, I just want to, I feel like we have consensus. Yep. And then as it relates to bringing that back on, it looks like January 15th would be the January meeting date. Is it just a discussion where you open up, please advise the district on what material you may want? We can't trust 2 seniors at the end of the table to give us their opinions, because it'll be for next year, they'll be off in college, but
I do
what
know
is it?
that there was a request when we put in the middle school to sort of get full feedback on how that's going and things like that. So I would love to see that in terms of input from our middle schools especially. And also, I'm a huge advocate for the education piece on it, and I don't believe I've seen much of that piece of our rollout of the policy of educating our students and our parents on the harmful effects of cell phones. And so I think that if we are going to be moving forward with any policy changes, I'm still advocating for the fact that it needs to come hand in hand with education on why. So
It might also be good to have our high school principals have a discussion about what the current policy and what they're finding at the current policy level maybe the goods and the bads, where maybe where the pain points are currently where we're at, and maybe where their desire, where they want to kind of be at too.
I would also love for us to be able to get some feedback from states that have adopted the full ban and what their experiences have been. Most of them are very recent, so presumably, literally in the last 1 to 2 years. So I assume they're seeing something, either progress or certain benefits or detriments, and we should be aware of that as well.
All right.
Mr. President, just for clarification, the upcoming meeting, middle school math update, that includes honors math as well and other things, right?
That is that, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Is the cell phone policy thing is just a discussion item? It's not like an actual piece of like resolution or anything like that? Okay.
Yeah, I think, and I'll check with the governance team, discussion here amongst the governance team, what if you decide on something that is not aligned to the current board policy, then it would go back to the policy committee for those revisions.
Yep.
And then bring it back to the board for a vote. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so it would definitely be a discussion. Obviously, we would not be taking action other than potentially making the decision whether to send it to the policy,
So we'll attach the current policy to the discussion item, so that could be seen by you and the public and everybody, so.
By the way, I 100% agree with Board Member Lofthouse and her comments about education. Education has to go hand in hand. For people to support a policy change, especially with teenagers, we need to educate not only the parents but the students of the harms associated with it. And there's a lot of academic articles, health journal articles on this very subject. I think a lot of times people just aren't aware of what's happening. And if they are educated, then I think people will be more accepting. So I think education is 100% an important component of this.
All right. Anything else? There's no need to go back into closed session. There's some, and no, that's about it. So if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting.